Hello, welcome back, everyone. This is what? Installment four?
We don't
Five?
even fucking know.
4 or 5?
We don't even know.
Sports First, Everything Else Second podcast. And today I have Andrew and Nick with me. So, as a new trend here, we're going to start off with Instagram questions. Our first question is from Matt Pimpinelli. Andrew, Nick, you are a Yankees fan now, but Andrew, you've been the whole season, your whole life.
The hat is LA. It was for a look.
And I'm a Yankees fan. So, he said DJ LeMahieu did not get an MVP finalist spot, exclamation point. What's your feelings on that?
I think the guys in front of him are kind of deserving. You know, the league kind of really blew up this year. Everybody that really got those finalist spots, in my opinion, deserved it. LeMahieu, he didn't really, within the first month of the season, be in that role that he is in now. So I do understand it. I'm a Yankees fan, so I'm trying to avoid that bias to believe that he should have his own finalist spot. But you gotta give credit where credit is due. The league had a great year. I don't have a problem with him not getting it. He's a young player. He's got a lot of years to come where he could potentially fill that
without
role.
a doubt, he's a good player, but he's not beating Trout, in my opinion. So, it was just one of those situations where you can give him a knock for a finalist and be like, hey, you did a good job this season, but you didn't do better than Trout. Yeah. And
same case would have been with Yelich if Yelich would stay healthy.
He's still winning it, in my opinion.
If Yelich is healthy, LeMahieu's great. He could have a great career, Hall of Fame career, but at this point in time,
there's just better players.
There's just better players in the league, and there's no discredit to him. He did great for what the Yankees needed and what an MLB team would need.
Trout's just the best player in our generation.
Just above that.
Nope.
All right.
All right.
I just want to tell you, I'm not going to give my input on it. I don't want to sound stupid because, I just got into baseball. I know how baseball works, but, I just haven't watched it, enough to know players, and because that just sounds like, nothing to me right now because I don't really know anything about, the MLB.
Okay. So, Nationals won the World Series.
Yes, sir.
They looked like they were going to blow it. 19-31 after May. Still won. Strasburg opt out. Cole's a free agent. The Dodgers ace is a free agent. I don't know his last name, and I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly.
Greinke?
No.
Wait, are we running down the whole list here?
Well, there's a lot available, but those are just I'm looking at the Yankees' perspective.
For the Yankees' perspective, there's Bumgarner, Cole, Hyunjin Ryu.
Yeah.
Might be butchering that. I apologize. Strasburg and Wheeler, and then Betances also available.
Well, you still got Didi, who we didn't offer yet.
The free agent list is insane this year. If I could,
Brett Gardner as well as on
pull
that
everything
list.
up.
We're letting Edwin walk.
Edwin hopefully is gone.
It was a team option. Team declined it.
Yep.
Thank God. No, actually, I wouldn't say all disrespect to him, but
that's not what the Yankees need.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yasiel Puig's a free agent. Josh Donaldson's a free agent. I hope that he goes back to Atlanta because they did very well. They just came up short.
Yeah.
Other than that, rotation guys is just what the Yankees need. Of course, we're biased here because we're Yankees fans. We're not talking about any other player, any other team. But do you think Didi comes back?
Honestly, it depends on what the Yankees are feeling throughout the organization. I know we're focusing more on pitchers, so letting a contract that would be a larger contract on Didi's end go to sign a Cole, a Greinke, or anything like that, sign a big-name free agent pitcher, that's just what the Yankees need. The Yankees don't need a bat, and we could fill our middle infield with other pieces.
We still have Frazier. We still have Voit, Torres, and Duhar. We have guys, Greg Bird. We still have guys in our AAA team who has played professional ball extremely successfully.
That were the bouncing, yep.
And I think that guys like Didi and Gardner are more than welcome to come back, especially with the team declining on Edwin's contract this past year. And the Yankees are always in luxury tax. They're willing to pay that extra tax because they get. They're billionaires, at that situation. But I think we didn't trade Bumgarner, and we're not going to go and sign him. He's aging a little bit. Strasburg would be a good one, but he's not. I don't think he's a 1.
Yeah, what I just don't want to see from the Yankees this year is to make no moves in the offseason or minimal moves. and then try and trade. Because the Yankees have such a good young team, and we showed that this year, that if we trade pieces away, it's going to come back, and those might be the guys that turn into the LeMahieus or the Gleyber Torres or the Andújars. Like, those are pieces that we need. So I feel like letting go of a middle infielder in Didi or letting go of Edwin and Brett Gardner, which I don't see Brett Gardner leaving. I think Brett Gardner's that vet that we have in the locker room. He's going to stay. He's going to be on a smaller contract. But potentially bringing in a ace pitcher or a number 2 pitcher is what the Yankees need. Between like what we have in our bullpen right now, and CC most likely not making a return, and even if he does, he's in his past prime years. I mean, pitching is what the Yankees need. I don't really think our defense needs that much work or our batting lineup needs that much work.
Okay, so now I'm going to go into the awards for baseball. I'm sorry. But, so, AL first, then NL. MVP, you got Alex Bregman, Marcus Semien of the A's, and Mike Trout of the Angels. We already said Trout. I'm going to say Trout. I'm not speaking for everyone.
I don't know, but they're I saw this yesterday. Not yesterday. I saw this earlier today. There is a potential sweep for the Astros to claim 4 separate awards from 4
Bregman,
individuals.
Cole, Alves, and then then Verlander.
Which is crazy that team.
3 players wins 3 awards, and then their manager isn't up for Manager of the Year. It's the Twins, Baldani, Aaron Boone, and Kevin Cash, who I think is going to get it at the Rays.
Yeah, I think Cash might get it. What they've been doing is kind of really.
They came out of nowhere. You know, they were 3rd in the AL East last year.
Yeah, which is crazy
And, coming and winning that. But I think, and then making the playoffs and almost upsetting potentially the team who made the World Series, the Astros at the time.
Yeah.
But I think it's Trout who wins MVP.
Yeah.
Do you think it's Trout?
I think Trout, what he's done and the player he is, he's almost in the conversation every year, barring injuries. But I think this year he's going to take it.
All right, Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, or Charlie Morton of the Rays? I think it's Cole.
Yeah, it's probably going to Cole. I mean, he put in work this year. He really kind of went out and dominated most of his outings. I don't exactly know his ERA, but I'm pretty sure he was top 5 to 10 in the league in ERA, and then low amount of walks, high amount of strikes. It's exactly what you want from pitching.
All right, Alvarez of the Astros, Lowe of the Rays, and Means of the Orioles pitcher. I think it's Alvarez. He was the best hitter on that team in the regular season.
Yeah.
Postseason he struggled, but the other 2 guys.
The other 2 guys weren't
can't
really
compete.
putting up what he did.
You have a 100+ win team. You're the best hitter on there.
Yeah, it
as
just
a
shows your
rookie,
dominance.
You're gonna get it. Manager of the Year, I think it's Cash.
I don't know. I mean,
Boone did good. He did great with what he had, but again, Cash was expected to do much. I mean, the Twins, they kind of.
I think if you figure in all the Yankees injuries and how he managed all of that, kept in good rotations.
He didn't trade anyone either.
Always had us in good positions.
Savages in the box.
There was no real reason that the Yankees should have had a good season like they did. Like bringing in all the injuries, having those people from AA, AAA moving around, 2-way players that are coming in and doing well. He sees that, and that's got to reflect on him. But I'm not sure. I don't know if I see him bringing it home. I think Cash might take it.
MVP, Bellinger, Rendon, Yelich. I still think it's Yelich. He was leading the National League in home runs and in batting average. And he still got hurt.
I think he keeps that up.
Don't get me wrong. Yelich is a great player. He just ended the season not on the same pace he was in the start, which tends to happen. It's okay. It's a long season. You rest your players, especially for the playoffs. But I think with Yelich getting hurt and the Dodgers flopping in the postseason really pushes Yelich to he was more valuable on that team than Yelich was to the Dodgers. Because,
Who? What?
Bellinger. Oh. How Yelich got hurt. Braves flopped in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Bellinger was still playing, and the Dodgers still managed to lose. So the World Series champs, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Nationals are a bad team, but I think Yelich.
Where did you just go with that?
I'm just saying Yelich is winning MVP because he's more valuable to his team.
Yes, sir. There we go.
All right. Cy Young. Wait. Cy Young. DeGrom, Ryu, or Scherzer. I think it's DeGrom again.
I think DeGrom, phenomenal guy. great pitcher
Terrible team.
on a god awful team, and that defense was not good behind him. So it's the pitching. That their defense was
Subpar.
on par at best at times. Like they had flashes, don't get me wrong, and they have good young spots that they can build from. But that team was just not good, and to have a pitcher play that dominantly, I don't think anybody's beating him.
Rookie of the year, Pete Alonso.
Oh, Petey.
I don't think I need him other than Tatis Jr. on the Padres, who was kind of close.
Pete.
But I think it's Pete. Yeah.
He went insane. That guy is a savage.
You got all right. Manager of the year, Craig of the Brewers. Excuse me. Mike Schultz of the Cardinals, or Brian Skinter of the Braves. I didn't watch much. I think it's the Cardinals. I think it's Mike Schultz because his team was terrible in the first half. And
I was going to say that. They did make an incredible playoff push, and similar to him, I did not really follow those teams.
The National League, it just happened to be those teams.
Yeah, but they did make after a very slow start, they did end up picking up pace and keeping that pace, which is rare for teams on the bottom half throughout the first couple months. And to just maintain that incline and the performance that they did
I'm surprised the Nationals guy isn't in there. I don't know his name, but
for the Nationals making it as far as they did on the regular season that they had, he kind of deserved the nod. But
all right, now let's get into NBA. Welcome to the conversation. Week 2, we saw some.
my Lakers, baby,
in the beginning of week 2.
Claiming that number 1 in the West.
At the beginning of the week 2, the Sixers were undefeated.
Yeah.
They lost last night to the Suns.
Yeah.
Which are
and we have a
team.
Sixers fan in the building right here. You want to elaborate on that, or you're just gonna shake it off because Embiid was suspended?
Listen,
are you worried? Before we start this, are you worried about that loss to the Suns? Does that scare you in any way for the potential of your team or the potential of the Suns?
No. Listen. So, in a way, it does scare me because you got those young, quick guys that that almost beat us and that did beat us, like Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
They're just too quick, and like our defense, yes, is good, but on the other hand, for some reason, we just don't know how to guard those young, quick guys. Devin Booker, what did he put up? 40 last night. Trae Young, I think he put up like 37.
To be honest, I think Devin Booker played his best game of his career last night.
But
I mean,
he dropped 70 and stuff, but I think that was his best game last night.
He went, I think, 17 for 19 or something like that. Like,
I think that was his best game of his career.
He put that up on 71% shooting or something like that, right?
Yeah. I think that was his best game.
And Aaron Baines, perfect from 3 and from. Oh my God. Anyway, but not having Embiid, it's. I'm not really gonna elaborate on that because
Embiid was suspended.
He was suspended, And of course we do need Embiid because he's just a powerhouse on the boards.
He's your best player.
He can definitely score.
He's the best player on that team. Yeah.
And you guys are undefeated with him, so that's all I gotta say. Of course it's
but the thing is if they had Ayton, we would have got shit on.
And that's a different matchup though. If you have Ayton on one
Al
side,
Horford proved himself that he can be. Okay.
If you have Ayton on one side and then you have Embiid on the other, I think.
No, Embiid's still suspended. He's saying if
Ayton was
but he's saying if they had Ayton off of suspension, so I'm saying we
trade. Suspension. Okay, never mind.
What happens if we have full rosters here? Because if these two
I think
teams,
the Sixers win with the full roster because Devin Booker can't get to the paint as easily. Embiid's not afraid of foul hard.
Yeah,
and he's shown
that's
that.
what I'm saying. And we've seen Embiid get into the heads of great big men before, and I'm not saying that Ayton is like a number 1 big in the league, but he could be. I mean, he's a very dominant player. And
average double-double is rookie.
It's kind of similar to that Shaq and Kobe-esque type of duo.
Not Shaq and Kobe, but
you see flashes.
There's a reason why you put that verb in there.
But you see flashes. Like, that could be a dominant duo
they are younger.
In a competitive West where stuff like that happens. But to speak to the Sixers loss, having those two big men not play, having Booker and Baines have career nights.
It's definitely a career changer.
I would say Baines' career night, Booker, this is what he should be doing for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And Tyler would be right on the MVP vote if Devin Booker keeps playing like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm not gonna shake it. We don't have Embiid. Like you.
Of course, you're still worried about it, but
thing,
not as bad.
It really, you can't really say anything at this
stage
point of the season.
That's why I
because-
don't make any judgments yet.
But the thing is
Essentially.
that there's one player that can determine if you win or lose a game.
Yeah.
And that's just facts.
For you guys, that's Embiid.
Well, it's any
It should be
It's-
Harris and
it's-
Simmons. Like without
it's-
him, they should step up easily. But Josh was just in again.
But the thing
he got
is,
destroyed.
but the
Oh,
thing, he went. I think it was like 5 for like 13 or 14 shooting last.
I don't
night.
even think it matters on the offensive end. It's just that when Embiid's not
Well, I mean-
there, your defense is going to lack more than your offense.
Well, yeah, I
'Cause
know, but
anyone
scoring
can put
points more
the ball
like, matters,
in the basket
obviously.
on that team.
Yeah.
They showed
Yeah.
it against the Raptors, right? When they were clutch.
Yep.
Yeah,
That team is
they
a
came back.
proficient scoring
Like
team.
they know how to score and they flip a switch. Simmons, of course, has a jump shot. Still waiting to see that how that.
He
show for
and
us this season.
he
Giannis
runs
is
up
shooting.
the court way too quick though. He tries to make everything happen so
Well, he's
fast.
a LeBron-like body. He doesn't have the
Well,
why-
and
You
then-
gotta remember, he's still young though. He's gonna learn
Okay.
that contact at the rim is gonna be easier to finish with if you go up and away instead of trying to come over the top of everybody like he could.
Of course,
in previous
his first
years.
2 seasons he can do that, and he's done that, and now he's realizing that there's film.
Like, hey,
And
teams know my game plan. I'm a run and gun player. I'm not getting this every time, and especially with Embiid not on the court, he doesn't have that dish guy or that trailer that was typically there, and nobody else really stepped up.
Not
for
even
it.
that. It's just that when Simmons is taking the ball in the hole, the defender now knows. Wait a minute.
Embiid can.
Embiid's not on the
finish.
court. I'm gonna double team and
Right.
let whoever is on the.
Okay, so I'm just gonna finish
Yeah.
talking about this because obviously we got more to get into.
Mhm.
But you can't get a loss out of somebody like a whole roster that was there. Same thing with Golden State. I'm not really saying because this point of the season they're not doing
They're
really
still
that
bad.
well. But if you don't have star players like Clay or Curry
Draymond.
and Draymond, it's
Durant.
it's a
Iguodala.
very very
D'Lo.
very very
D'Lo.
very hard thing to get by.
It's a hard.
because you don't
you
have
can't,
those teams.
You can't
like, those
have a
players.
judgment on a team yet, and of course it is week 2.
Yep.
And I think that there's teams now forming that we know are going to be good,
Mhm.
like the Heat, Sixers, the Bucks, and we know teams that are going to be bad, like the Knicks.
What and
And-
what that I'm just gonna say right here is that again you can't I'm not I was a little upset about the loss obviously, but what I need to see from the Sixers is get it to the people that can shoot. Don't because Korkmaz, he shot the game-winning 3,
Yeah.
and now last night he just all of a sudden thinks he can shoot every single time he gets the ball, and that's what's killing us. But
I think that comes down. I think with that is more coaching. I think Brett Brown should be fired.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I've been saying that for a year now.
shoot or shoot. I'm not saying don't shoot the ball.
But
You're
he's
not
not-
wide open. But
Tobias Harris should be and Josh Richardson should be the best shooters.
yes.
We'll get to the Sixers later. But to continue on this, as of right now,
I just want to say I just think we should improve on our defense, and we need to do something about our offense with the shooting performance.
well, to be fair, 3-point numbers are down throughout the league. Teams are just shooting it and thinking that they're going to hit it the same rate that they did last year. Houston's struggling. Milwaukee's struggling. The Sixers are struggling. They weren't that great at threes either, but
Yeah,
They're-
they're not really like a
decent.
shooting team. They're more of like a drive.
now we'll get you in the conversation in the West. Your Lakers 5-1. 2 teams are 5-2 behind you, and there's 6 teams behind you that are 4-2. Do you think the West is gonna stay
Relax.
like this the whole season?
I think the Lakers are gonna stick to a top 3 spot.
Do you,
just
do you think Davis stays healthy? That's a huge question.
I-
Because he hasn't stayed healthy. Sorry for cutting you off, but Davis hasn't stayed healthy, and that's his great player, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year candidate if he plays 70 plus. But that's if he plays 70 plus.
who was the offense through when he was with the Pelicans?
Drew Holiday.
You're telling me that every play was let's get Drew Holiday a bucket, or was it let's get Anthony Davis a bucket?
Oh, I thought you meant when he was out.
No, when he's on the court.
Yeah, it's Davis.
Mm-hmm.
But
So now who does the ball run through in LA?
LeBron. No, but I'm just saying it's not the same team without Davis.
Yes, and I completely get that. I understand that fully. But when you have a Dwight Howard that's playing like fucking Magic Dwight Howard, excuse my language.
I don't think he's
Excuse me.
playing like Magic. I think he's playing the best since his Magic days.
He is putting up insane numbers. The other night he didn't miss. He literally, I forget how many points he had, but he did not miss. And granted, that's all dunks and paint shots, but
Tough shots.
he's making his free throws.
I think he is a smarter player.
He's aggressive.
He's realizing that.
He's obviously worked with LeBron to a degree because LeBron has that intangible where the people around him get better. But to answer your question, I think Anthony Davis can stay healthy. You have good centers around Davis, so it's not every minute, every game, every week, the entire season. Yeah, okay. The Pelicans didn't have a sub that could come out and
other than that phase with DeMarcus Cousins, but
and DeMarcus
statistically that team didn't do
yeah,
well.
Statistically that team brought everything down. But to continue on specifically the Lakers, the ball runs through LeBron. The backups can come in and do well. So Anthony Davis doesn't have the weight of an organization on his shoulders like he has in the past.
I mean, I still think there's some weight because
there's
always that fall. Well, of course, there's expectations, but there's always the fall of LeBron can start declining any moment. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he will be soon. Great player.
I don't think anybody in that organization or on that team is worried about that.
Well, there's always that thought in that mind, though.
I'm telling you.
Definitely
I'm telling you.
Okay.
If you ask anybody in that organization, it might be a little creeper.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's definitely a little creeper.
Dead back.
But
when you're on that court, nobody thinks about LeBron declining. No. Except for maybe game 1 when he had those turnovers. But nobody... LeBron is leading the league in assists. He is a big... He can rebound. He can pass.
We get it. He can do
score.
everything.
He can do literally... The weight is not on Davis. The weight for Davis is going to come around during playoffs. And...
He hasn't really shown us what Anthony Davis in playoffs is like because he's ran into the Warriors twice.
We're going to see, hopefully, what Anthony Davis can bring in a 7-game series. And LeBron has proven that playoffs are his.
Yeah.
He can do most of what he needs to. You could say whatever you want about the finals, but he knows how to get there. He's brought worse teams.
And then once he gets there, now, of course, there's always the question of Davis has never been.
I think that helps Davis.
Of course it does, but there's always, when you play a team...
with experience.
Like,
if we say...
To be honest, no team in the East has experience. Like, in my opinion, because Kawhi left. The Raptors, of course, you got you guys who stayed there last year, but they're not...
But when you look at teams in the West that are going to give them playoff experience, everybody in that conference that is a real contender, other than the Suns... The Kings who aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
And
the Warriors are
And the Warriors who might not even make it.
And the Nuggets. Every team has pretty much been to a Western Conference.
And yeah, all those teams have been deep playoff runs, not necessarily
in the past
finals.
Recent years.
But in my opinion, watching how they play, watching how LeBron and Davis and all those role players function, I think once playoffs comes around, that's when you see a mental change in teams. Not just the Lakers, but every team. You see those Kawhis who just extra 3 points or extra 3 to 4 points a game, extra steal. Davis hasn't had that real feel like being an athlete. You live for those moments, and I think Anthony Davis will have a healthy season because he's not the entire weight of an organization, but the playoff stretch is going to be where we really see who the brow is.
All right. So
I have big hopes.
The big question mark on the whole West, looking through it, right? I actually have 2. One, who the hell is Brandon Ingram? There's a second part to that question. Where the hell did he come from? And the second part is, the Trailblazers are 3 and 4. Do they trade Whiteside, or do they wait till the trade deadline to trade for someone and keep Whiteside?
Can I speak to the Brandon Ingram thing before?
About what?
He is a development of the Lakers organization. When D'Lo left, all-star. When Brandon Ingram left, all-star. Watch Lonzo do something. Just please. I'm a Lakers fan and I love seeing these guys do well. Trust me. Like Brandon Ingram, freak. Like you don't see talent like that.
I would like to apologize because I think I've been on the record of saying Brandon Ingram isn't that good. Yep. But again, I'm against teams trading rookies in their rookie contracts because it's not giving him enough time to develop. Of course, you draft him when he's 18. But downside of coming out freshman year.
Anyway,
go ahead. I'll discuss my thing later. Go ahead.
He's a true number 1 with pieces. Like
40.
He's got
35, 36 versus the Rockets. I mean, of course they're like 1. No, what are they? They're 1 and 6, but
that's not on him. That's on the rest of the team that's got to step up and be around him and really be there for that main scorer. Like you can't have somebody put up 40 and then your next highest scorer be 12. Stuff like that just can't happen, and I don't exactly know their next highest scorer, but I know he wasn't above the 20s. Like that team doesn't grab enough rebounds, and Brandon Ingram is having a career year and possibly an all-star season in a West that's got a lot of good players. But
I just think that he's he's the prime example of don't give up on top draft picks. Of course, there's a time where you got to say, okay, bye-bye. Like Markelle Fultz. Sixers are contending when they drafted him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They needed a player that produced now. And he couldn't produce, so they were
still
okay,
held. Yeah.
bye. They're still contending. Now, Fultz is on the Magic. Same thing with Ingram. Lakers, right? They didn't know they were getting LeBron when they drafted him. Of course, they can always be like, hey, LeBron's a free agent in a couple of years. Wouldn't it be funny if we signed him, right? And then they do, and they're like,
shit.
Wait, let's move pieces.
Now they're like, oh, God, we're contenders. And then Davis, all that happens. But, of course, when you have a chance to get a generation talent like Davis, you trade everything.
Yeah,
you trade as much pieces other than Kuzma.
Yeah.
Who I thought was the best young piece on that team. He's injured. Of course, he played the other night, right? He did play the other night.
He was limited minutes, but yeah.
But like I'm saying, I think Ingram's the prime example of now teams are going to look at their young pieces and be like, wait, do we keep them? Especially if you're in the middle of the hunt teams. Like
where you could
like the
rebuild,
Magic,
but you might
the
make
Suns every year. Like
the Heat now.
The Heat, exactly. Like they don't need to trade Tyler Hero. Unless if he starts underperforming, then you trade for an all-star or trade for a better player.
Or a high pick, yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, we're contending. We need a piece to contend. We'll give away a young piece for a talented piece that is already established in this league.
Yeah, that's a
But Pelicans aren't. The Lakers are. Hence why they traded Ingram and Lonzo and Hart and that first-round pick.
Yeah, and I mean, the pieces that are around Ingram in that trade, just to kind of speak on that for a little bit, but the pieces that are around that in that trade, Hart is a good role player. He's a good bench guy. I mean, I don't exactly know their rotation, but he's a good bench guy. He could come off the bench, hit a 3, maybe 2, play some good defense. But Lonzo is, in my opinion, not really ever going to be one of those shooters. Always going to be a pass-first kind of guy, and a get-to-the-lane kind of guy. But he's not dominant at anything. And yeah, he's still young, but the injuries are what's going to hold him back. And it's not even LeVar at this point that you can even give him a crutch for, like, oh, this guy's weighing on him. He's either got to find his shot and find himself and give himself an identity other than BBB.
What we suggested with Zion, conditioned for a whole year, like Embiid did. They sent him to Africa or whatever and said, you need to be away from the team in condition. You need to get healthier.
Yeah.
You could do that with Lonzo, take the season as an L. Lonzo and Zion work together and work on their health. Ingram does what he's doing. Sign him back. Let Josh Hart do whatever he's got to do. We don't know his status on his contract. And then trade Drew Holiday to a team, to a contender in the All-Star break.
I was gonna say something like that too. Like let their bench and role players really take off, do what they got to do, and then possibly make a trade for one of those guys. Have Zion, Lonzo, Brandon Ingram come back, and then build around that core. That's a solid core. That's a scary core in 3 to 4 years.
Of course, we said this about many teams in the past. Timberwolves, for example. Yeah. The Suns, for example.
What's the Timberwolves looking like?
4-2.
Yeah.
They're tied with. All right. So next question is Portland, but before we get into the standings thing, what's going on in Portland? Are you scared? Are you worried? Or do you think? My real question is: do they keep Hassan Whiteside, or do they trade a piece and keep Whiteside?
I think if they're going to trade Whiteside, they're going to trade Whiteside. They're going to have to give somebody else away. Everybody knows that Whiteside's a better player on contract years. He did that in Miami. He's underperforming, and yeah, it's early, but if you can get back a piece and give up I
don't know why they didn't just go ahead and get Cantor. He fit perfectly in that team.
But
all offense, no defense, no problem.
Yeah, and that's kind of been Portland's
and
identity.
Nurkic is coming back. He's your defensive anchor.
Oh, without a doubt.
If he comes back 100%. He hasn't played over in 9 months, but
I think that getting rid of him, trading away maybe another piece, either a pick or a bench player, and getting back a solidified big man, maybe who would you even trade with?
What's your trade package for what? If you're going to trade Whiteside, you can keep Whiteside, but what's a decent trade?
The big man that that are playing this league right now who's dominant.
There's not a lot on contract years.
Yeah.
So it's going to be harder to trade.
I can't really say.
I say you'll wait until San Antonio drops and you trade for LaMarcus back.
I think that was one of my favorite duos when I first really.
And I know we've talked about this before prior to filming weeks ago that LaMarcus needs to be back in Portland.
Yeah, LaMarcus doesn't have an identity which is the main thing in anything that
And he scored 50 in one game last year. He's averaged 20. You know, him and DeMar are okay.
Yeah, but that team, outside of Popovich, has no identity. You have pieces on that team that are young, that can run and gun.
Forbes.
But LaMarcus doesn't fit in that. DeRozan doesn't really fit in that run and gun.
Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gay is past his prime.
He played really well last night, though.
But that is a past his prime player. So that team does not have a specific identity. The Warriors, 3-point shooters. The Cavs were a either drive and kick type of team or a pick and roll. They wanted to run an offense.
Right now, they're tied for fourth. They're 4-2. But I don't think they're going to stay that well, so that's why I say you trade. You don't give him Whiteside. Pop doesn't want that. He's going to want guys like Anthony Simmons, you know, young pieces that they drafted like 2-3 years ago. And if you're Portland, go back on the Brandon Ingram subject. You're contending. It's a competitive West. You need pieces.
You need to win now.
Trade your young pieces and get some...
Before your All-Stars they pass their
Dame
prime.
is locked up. CJ's locked up. Nurkic, I don't know about his future with the team. Rodney Hood's playing extremely well.
He is having a good year for
But
himself, yeah.
this is where you look at the off-season for the Portland and go, we didn't trade for Sabonis. We didn't sign an Aaron Baines type player. Granted, no one knew he was going to do that well last night.
But you saw that. But you did see glimpses of it.
You did
Last year, you saw him play well in certain situations.
Yes. And this is where you look at it and go, you didn't gamble on guys like Bobo in the draft.
You didn't gamble on a big. They didn't try to get a big. They just said, hey, Hassan, we'll take on last year.
Of course, if you're looking at it as he should fit perfectly with this team, right? They need defensive player, right? But he doesn't score outside the paint.
Then
Dwight Howard has a decent 8-foot, 10-foot jumper, or at least is seen shooting it in the game. Whiteside
has no mid-range to short-range game unless he's got a foot in the paint or both feet in the paint. With the All-Stars that he's got around him, Dame, who can do a little bit of everything on both ends of the ball. It's upsetting kind of to watch a team like that flop. And not even so much that they flop that they're not making the playoffs or the record is terrible, but not to click. And I expected
that they were a second seed in our last episode, so it's just kind of funny that
I expected them to
just
match.
Backfiring on us real bad.
Because you add another defensive anchor, a preliminary shot blocker.
Once Nurkic gets back, that's two.
Yeah.
And Nurkic can play power forward because he's a little undersized. And then you got Rodney Hood at the 3, who's been playing extremely well, or you have Hazonia start and Hood off the bench. But this is who they have for young pieces. Gary Trent Jr., Nazir Little, Anthony Simons, Zach Collins, that have at least value, in my opinion.
I say, if they were to try and package Whiteside, you put Collins.
That's two setters, man. You can't do that. Okay. Actually, let me let you finish.
You put Collins, but read me back that list.
So you have Anthony Simons,
your main
guard,
piece,
Zach Collins, a big, Gary Trent, a guard, and then Nazir Little forward.
Your main piece in that, I think that Portland should try to keep and hold on to is Nazir Little.
Okay.
I feel like learning behind those all-star guards could really help him develop into a skill set that he doesn't really so much have right now.
Yeah, but his thing is, though, Nazir Little plays shooting guard, small forward. Simons has played point guard last season, and he did extremely well in the couple games he played. So my opinion is, you know what Simmons has, and you know what Nazir don't, but Nazir might have more potential than Simons, So I would say...
Look at Ben Simmons and LeBron James, though. Okay. If you could change that shooting guard small forward into a predominant ball handler, you have a big defense. He's good on defense. He's not great.
Yeah.
But his defense is looking like it could be.
Of course, he is a rookie, Little. So
yeah. So I mean, that for me, in my opinion, you try and train him to be better with the ball, and learn how to shoot, get a perimeter game because he can finish, and he's shown that. Like he's good at getting to the rim. But give him a perimeter game, have him go to those practices, train as a guard a little bit, kind of hone in all the skills, be versatile, be a Ben Simmons type of player, and he can shoot. He's put the ball into the basket from behind the arc before. Yeah. That's a really good asset to have on a team. If you have that versatile player, he's not a drive past you dunk Giannis. He's not a knockdown 3-point shooter.
This is where I would say is that Dame is okay with playing 48 minutes back to back.
Yeah.
Of course it is. You never do that. You should never ever do that, right? CJ, he can put up 35 minutes and be okay with it. So to me, you go back to the Brandon Ingram thing. You're contending. You have guys like LaMarcus Aldridge, who, Kevin Love would fit perfectly with this team. Tristan Thompson, you could trade for him. His contract's on the unfriendly side, but you're contending, and he's been playing exceptionally well. Drummond's on a contract year. Blake Griffin doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. If that team starts to slip, he might be available at the trade deadline. Of course, he doesn't want to leave Detroit. I don't know why. He's drafted there, I guess, and he's built an identity with that team to be like, hey, we're still a physical 0-4 Pistons type team, just not as great or nearly as great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I think that they should trade for. Is they get rid of Hassan and they package Nazir Little, because teams are going to want him, especially if you're and maybe they throw in Simons as well to get Andre Drummond and Kevin Love. But I don't know. I don't think they get two. I think they just get one big player.
I feel like they don't gamble on Kevin Love. Is my only thing. An older player who's been having injuries the past couple of seasons. Yeah, he's had a great first 2 weeks.
Mental illness is a thing,
but
of course that's a whole other issue, and it's
you
a
shouldn't
real
take
thing.
that away from a guy. But
I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying any moment he can turn in.
You just don't want to gamble on an older player like that, especially when you have young pieces. But getting rid of Hassan is kind of a must for them at this point, unless he really has a.
I wouldn't say a must.
What about the
just
same
yet,
thing with LeBron getting traded to the Lakers when he's an older piece?
You're talking about
what?
If you're talking about LeBron being an older piece in a trade,
they would never do that. What?
When he went to the Lakers, it wasn't a trade. Number one,
He signed.
It was a signing.
Okay.
So it was a free agent, and that's not the Lakers taking a risk. That's picking a bona fide Hall of Fame,
First
one
ballot,
of the greats,
the second
top.
But the thing is too is that
5
you
all
have
time.
a big man that can pretty much do everything.
Who?
Kevin Love.
But
he can shoot. He can drive. He can get rebounds.
But he's in his later years.
He can play defense. You can say that about everybody.
He's been
about Dwight Howard.
He's been hurt since the 2016 stretch.
Like he's played games this season, right? But Kevin Love isn't the same Kevin Love he first joined the
he wasn't
Cavs or the Timberwolves days. Which I understand your point is. I think that I think he'd fit perfectly in Portland, Kevin Love, right?
Well, yeah, because he can stretch the floor and he can rebound well. But
I
just don't think that organization would gamble that way.
Portland does have a tendency of not to gamble.
Yeah.
And I think that Terry Stotts is a great coach. In order, you can throw him anything and he will make it work.
Yeah.
He's been a Coach of the Year candidate the past 2-3 seasons now.
Mm-hmm.
His team was second in a Western Conference last year, who was literally 3 games apart from 2 to 8. Like, come on. You had to show some faith in your coach. Of course, you let him sit in that meeting that, hey, by the way, we're going to pull this trigger. I say they keep Whiteside, and you just got to trade picks and young pieces at this point in order to get Kevin Love, Drummond. You lost your chance on Sabonis.
So then, if your ideal situation is keep Whiteside and add another big man,
it'd be Kevin Love at this point.
What happens when Nurkic comes back? Or Nurkic?
Yeah.
What happens when Nurkic comes back?
You can easily put Hassan Whiteside on the bench. I know he's not going to be happy with it, but he did it when the Heat days when they drafted Bam.
So you think that if they make that trade, they pick up, for instance, we'll say they pick up Kevin Love. They trade a young piece.
They trade. I think preferably they trade a pick, maybe like a 2-year.
Then that's when they'd be giving away Collins.
Oh yeah,
no,
maybe they probably
a big for a big.
Yeah, they give away Collins and maybe Gary Trent Jr.
and then probably a pick
for a backup guard for their team. For backup of Garland and Sexton. Yeah.
But if a lot of butts here coming in, but if you're the Cavs, do you want to give that up?
Yeah. You basically what the.
I'm just trying to get food for thought going here.
What they basically said when they drafted Darius Garland and saying, hey, whatever Portland did, it's clearly working.
We're gonna try.
We did, it's not working. So we're gonna try it. A double-edged sword. Great on offense, undersized on defense, and it's worked for Portland in the years. They made it to a Western Conference Finals. They destroyed a whole organization. They still compete though. Thunder still compete, but I'm saying is that the Cavs have built an identity of we are guard play now. Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love are no longer like they will still be playing for us because we are paying them, but they should be on the trade block by All-Star break.
So that's kind of going to cut us off where we are at our basketball segment.
Yeah.
We're going to try and move into our segment that I thought we were going to do the rule.
What? No, we'll do that another time.
Okay.
We want more people.
So then, where we're
NFL.
getting into is the NFL.
So basketball kind of got out of hand here. That was a good 20 to 30 minutes. Sorry, Nick, you didn't get much work, but now we're gonna get on the NFL. This is especially hard on our parts because baseball just ended. So this is where all sports play at once, and we are nowhere near intelligent in NHL. So we don't talk about that on here. Sorry to say if you're a hockey fan, but we'll talk about the football, and we'll go back on another thing I gotta add at the end of this. We gotta talk about the Patriots game.
The Patriots!
I'm a Giants fan. I'm not a Ravens fan. I'm not a Patriots fan. That was not a knock on the Patriots. The Patriots came in. They had a spy for Lamar. They played that entire defense around Lamar. Belichick and Belichick's son, who was making those play calls, are both phenomenal defensive-minded coaches. And I'm going to pass this off to them after I say this. That was a statement for Lamar. Everybody knows now that he should be on your MVP possibility ballot. He's
in the middle of that
showing
conversation.
up.
Middle of that conversation.
He is
Him,
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Watson. That's okay. But,
Jackson's off for the season.
but yeah, Mike Vick has came out and said this is the best I've seen at doing what I did since me, which is
Mike
Vick was a cheat code. Lamar Jackson's looking like the exact same cheat code. I'll pass that to the Patriots.
All right, go ahead.
I was going through a little bit. I watched a little bit of the game, but I was just, I just couldn't watch it. I was just too upset. But just what I've watched, I mean, again, I knew that playing the Ravens was going to be a great game, depending on if we won or if we lost. It's either going to be a close game or it's going to be a blowout. It wasn't really a blowout. I mean, they just did.
They just got outplayed.
They just got outplayed. Lamar, he's been doing what he's doing, and I don't really think our defense was caught off guard.
It really exposed where your defense is strong in your secondary, and where it's weak in your pass rush.
This is what I've been like. Me and Testone, who has been on this podcast, that he said that the Patriots were going to beat the Ravens. And I said, yeah, they might beat the Ravens, but the thing is that
I was skeptic
we don't really have the only kind of, rushing that is immune to the game, rushing that that rushes the ball really well is Russell Wilson. And, this is our first time playing Lamar Jackson. So, again, we are going to have film on, him next year.
But you can always watch film and study as hard as you can.
But the thing
is, it's different when you go on the field.
But it's the same thing with Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
He's still doing great.
And you guys shut that down.
Okay, but the thing is, he's still doing great. But the thing is that he's not doing as great because players in the defenses that are playing him know what he's doing. That's a
different conversation though than Lamar because Patrick Mahomes is hurt and we don't know if he was 100% this whole season.
No, but what I'm saying is that when he was 100%, what I'm saying, even if he was 100%, and he was in the beginning of the season, is that teams still wrap their head around what Patrick Mahomes does.
Well, I mean,
this is the first time any other organization team in this NFL, the whole 31 teams that are playing the Ravens, not 30.
Yeah.
The 31 teams that need to face the Ravens at some point.
Yes. Is they don't know what they need to beat Lamar Jackson.
He's
you're going to game plan
9-10 games.
You're going to game plan for
maybe.
Yes. You're going to game plan obviously for one of the,
more dynamic
rushing passing quarterbacks in the league, and he's second year rookie?
Second year player.
Yeah.
Second year player.
Okay. And
first season starting from week 1 though.
Okay. Is that I'm not mad about the loss. I'm not, as a true Patriots fan, I am not mad at us losing against great teams. I am not. If we lost the Super Bowl against the Seahawks, obviously it would fucking sting. It would hurt like a bitch. But I'm not upset that, we got beat by the Browns. or that we'd get beat by the Dolphins. Like those are games you need to be frustrated about because you don't know what the hell's going on.
As watching Patriots, before I'll let you talk after this. Before watching the Patriots, I get nervous after we lose. Like when we lose 4 games, I don't get nervous. When we lose a 5th game is when I start getting nervous. Because if you notice, we've gone 12-4 for a while now. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's our schedule being weak as hell.
Cupcake.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not shying away from that. I'm not going to skirt around that conversation. That's a literal factor in our schedule of being 12-4. This season, I think, is our toughest schedule because we play the Texans.
Yeah, we play the next games that we have. We're playing
real teams.
I have a question for you guys.
Go ahead.
Seeing Lamar Jackson do what he did.
Mm-hmm. I'm nervous for the Texans.
And knowing Belichick, are you guys nervous about a playoff push from the Ravens? You see them once, and you know that offense is dynamic. And Harbaugh is a Hall of Fame coach. And debate me if you want on that.
Okay. I think he is.
He is a phenomenal coach.
I think he's not 100% yet, but he's on his way to
pushed.
It.
What he can do with that offense is limitless, and Lamar Jackson is getting smarter. His passing
every game he gets better. Well, other than the last 4, but
his QBR has been slowly on the incline.
Yeah,
and you love to see that out of a young quarterback, especially one who was deemed a running back at quarterback.
Yeah, or teams.
He is showing that up. So my question to you guys
I think his rating's 90 or an 88.
It's pushing 100. Yeah, but to finish that all up, do you think in a playoff situation, saying that you guys met them in either the first or the second round, in a playoff situation,
in Foxborough,
in a given playoff situation, do you think that Belichick's mind takes over, or that Lamar Jackson's adaptability takes over?
So I'm gonna right here, I'm gonna look at the rest of the schedule. The only teams that I'm worried about are the Texans with Sean Watson, MVP candidate, Lamar MVP candidate, both similar players. I think Watson's a little bit better
in the pocket,
and Lamar's better outside the pocket.
Yeah,
that's not
understandable.
But Watson's past 3 games, he's made MVP type plays throughout the whole game. And the Chiefs, because Mahomes is probably going to play, right? And of course, we beat him once, but that not guarantee we're going to beat him again. So I'm projecting us to have 3 losses in the year. Of course, that Miami game in when we're playing in Miami, we can always lose that game to make it 4. But I still think that we're going to be a first seed. We're going to get a bye. And we're going to play them in Foxborough. But the way the Ravens are playing, either them or the Texans, I see them in the championship game in Foxborough versus the Patriots. And yes, I'm nervous as hell. Because Belichick, great, Hall of Fame. Tom Brady, Hall of Fame, right? But the one thing you can do, you can watch all the film you want. But the reason why it is dynamic is because he can do passing or running on any given play.
The way that they run that pistol offense is insane.
Yes, and having Mark Ingram, having Mark Andrews as a tight end, having Hollywood Brown, a version of AB but way humbler, a smaller version of Juju, multiple weapons, they're just fast all around.
And this is where you see the IQ of Lamar. He feeds the hot hand. He doesn't force to hot routes or force to the number one or even just instant drop the check down.
Like if Mark Ingram's running around that defense like he did, handoff,
pitch,
or read option, and then he's open because the defense is worried about.
And then like against the Patriots, Andrews was hot.
Yes.
Mark Andrews was doing a phenomenal job of getting around your linebackers and even when the matchup was your safeties. Lamar Jackson, if he saw a safety, he threw it hot. If he saw a linebacker, he let him. Those are the plays that I saw that really was like,
out.
Wow.
The Patriots need to worry about.
This IQ on running back is insane.
What I'm going to say is this. What I heard during the game, in which I agree with, I forgot who was commentating the game, but you don't see read options that much anymore in this NFL. This day NFL.
It's protect the quarterback now, yeah.
Yes. And also, what you got to understand from just any team standpoint is that yes, there's not a lot of read options that are going on in this today's NFL, and you don't really practice that much of a read option. You don't.
Right, if you defensively, yes, you don't. You prepare your defense for that.
Yes, but the thing is that obviously, I'm guessing Belichick is very he's smart enough to play the defense the week going up to the game to get some more read options and QB run plays out of those practices. But the thing is that because of this day and age of football, you don't see it. And Lamar Jackson, he's bringing that back. He's bringing the read option back. He is bringing the running back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think on the way he is going right now is he is going to be as great or greater than Russell Wilson.
Well,
That's a tough call now.
I mean, of course, Russell Wilson already has a Super Bowl, and Pete Carroll is a better coach than Harbaugh. At the, it's career-wise.
At the moment right now. But the thing is that, like, what you're seeing right now, like, obviously, same thing with running backs. If you run the ball a lot and get hit a lot, and obviously because you're just that type of player, you're not going to last as long as in the league. But players like Russell Wilson proved that wrong.
Right.
Some of the rushing QBs that were in the league, even before our generation or just during our generation up to 2019, 2000 to 2019, I think, there's very, very, very few quarterbacks that can last in this league. I think it's not going to be.
Is there anything else that you want to say about the Patriots-Ravens game?
I'm going to jump and just say I think that the future of our league is now, and that Watson, Mahomes, and Jackson and Wilson are leading the realms of, hey, every quarterback should be able to run out of the pocket now. Daniel Jones isn't the fastest guy. He
moves.
He moves. Yes,
I'm
not discrediting him.
presence.
Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz. If you don't run, you're useless.
Yeah.
Because defenses can game plan a lot easier for, hey, push the pocket, collapse the pocket, make him make a decision on whether he's going to throw it to the ground or throw one up to our D-backs.
But I'm gonna say that the future is here, and that I think the Patriots need to adapt, or we're gonna have another upsetting February.
Yep.
So, here's where I want to jump from that.
Okay.
We're talking about AFC. I think the Browns are just a big flop. Odell is still just as upset as he was in New York. He's verbalized that. He's still that hothead.
I know you hate to say it, but drama queen. And it's not disrespect to him, but that's what they're labeling.
I hate to see that because
Freddie Kitchens is going to get fired. We already see it.
Freddie Kitchens is gone.
He's already seen it. But this is where you go in this draft and say, what do we need? And who do we trade and who do we not?
I think they I don't know what team would be willing to take Odell or Jarvis.
I think
that team leads the league in drops.
I think more teams take Jarvis than Odell, because Jarvis is at least quiet.
He hasn't been.
Well,
he's with Odell by his side. Those guys are like thing one and thing two. Neither of them got the stickums that they did at LSU, which doesn't mean anything in the NFL. And they both act like they're these number one guys that are gonna be these all stars, these celebrities.
Njoku still hurt too?
What?
Njoku still hurt?
And Njoku's still not playing. So there's the humble tight end that was doing the most. Like, that's the one guy.
That's my favorite player on that team, I'm just saying. And Kareem Hunt's coming back.
And they got Kareem Hunt coming back. This team has so much talent that it just upsets me that it's just this
I
big
say
flop.
they don't do anything because we've seen super teams in our generation growing up. They don't work the first year, or they don't do as well the first year.
But have we seen...
Other than Golden State, but that's different.
Have we seen an NFL super team?
Patriots.
The Eagles.
The Eagles with who?
Terrell Owens, McNabb, Jackson.
That team imploded on itself.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It took them a couple years.
Wait, that team had a controversial receiver, Odell Terrell. They had a
second.
Decent... I mean, McNabb was...
And they also had a good running back. I forgot his name.
He was all right. But they had a similar situation to what the Browns have going on. They had a good number one receiver who was a hothead. They had a decent number two receiver who didn't talk much. Jarvis and Jack. And then a quarterback that could do a little bit of everything but wasn't great. And what this team, the Browns, have in common with that team is that their potential is limitless.
But Eagles actually made the playoffs. So.
But the Eagles did stuff with that. Terrell Owens is a Hall of Famer. Do you think Odell could be a Hall of Famer if...
He has a talent, but he just doesn't have the numbers right now.
He
started with numbers like on pace for it, but...
He started on a pace to be the best receiver ever. He was... I forget the exact stat, but he had the most yards through the first 3 seasons of anybody in their career. Which... he's just...
I just think that they need a locker room presence like Njoku back playing and contributing ASAP. I'm not saying they should blow it up this offseason, but we're looking at you, Baker Mayfield. We're looking at you, Freddie Kitchens, before we do anything with
And
Odell, Landry, Kareem Hunt,
to touch back on Odell,
Johnson. Go ahead.
we never heard any of this when Cruz was in that locker room. We had a veteran receiver in that locker room.
Well, that's
We
what you
didn't-
do. That's what happens with a bunch of young guys. Because with young guys, essentially, yes, but they're, of course, they're professionals. They're getting paid millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You think they would know, hey, walk into this locker room, hey, we're 2 and what, whatever, or 4 and whatever.
2 and 4,
We're-
2
we're-
and 5,
I
whatever it
don't
is.
know.
They're not a
Hey,
good
we're
team.
underperforming. Let's, yeah,
I don't know.
it's a very gray subject because I
could
don't
be
watch
gray.
Brown games. I don't think you're tuning in at actually this far in the season too, and I doubt you are either. But
No.
you could be. I
I've-
don't know.
I saw their game
Like-
2 weeks ago. Too many drops, too many miscommunications. You see
Change
Baker, for instance, you see Baker throwing to the post when Odell or Jarvis is running to the corner. And I don't. That's mostly on Kitchens and Baker, but that's where you got guys that are their own person, not a team player. And that is Odell. That is Jarvis. That is not Njoku. That is previously not Kareem Hunt. And that is definitely not Chubb. So, like as fans, we love to see those superstar teams do well. Not to the point where it's the Warriors where they beat everybody up.
Well, I think they were just looking at a scapegoat to beat the Patriots, and they saw this team with a bunch of Pro Bowlers
Uh-huh.
and a bunch of great talent, saying this team can beat the Patriots. And of course, I said 8-8 in the beginning of the season. Of course, it's probably not on record, but I said 8-8 because new guys. Baker's never had this talent around him. I thought he was okay. Drafting him number 1, I didn't think that was okay. I think Lamar's the best quarterback in that draft class. People can argue against me. I don't care because
I don't know
Here
if we
where
thought
we
that
are now.
before the draft.
Yes,
but that's okay.
I did.
I don't think you
I
did.
thought the Patriots should have drafted him and not
Yep.
traded that pick.
Yes,
but
sir.
Belichick wasn't going to do it anyways. Whatever. We traded Jimmy G instead. Also whatever. But my thing is that you don't blow up. Calm down, Cleveland. You're doing okay. Relax. I know damn well everyone wants to keep everyone together. Just fire Freddie Kitchens and put a better locker room coach. Of course, he's great with the offensive line and defensive line. You can just downgrade him into that type of coach, right? He's not a game planner. He's not a scheme guy, Like, I'm not saying he's a terrible coach. He probably knows more football than I ever will, He's a head coach of a freaking NFL team. But I just don't think that hiring a new coach with the expectations you have, of course, Hugh Jackson had to get out of there, but you should have went out after Bruce Arians, who will confront his players, but of course he didn't want that hot mess.
Yep.
So now you look at college coaches in the past who I said coaches weird. I'm sorry,
Coaches.
but you need to look at college coaches who want to coach in the NFL and say, hey, we might need a Cliff Kingsbury type guy, or a guy who had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay.
All right, so let you touch on this real quick, and then we're going to jump to another AFC team.
Not being biased, but what I'm going to say is that just for this decade now, the Patriots have been the powerhouse team to beat.
Okay.
You have not had one season to where, they were horrible, they were bad, they were looking shitty.
or even they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that's your cupcake division.
Yes. All right.
Cupcake.
So
now-
this is part 1. We're I don't know. So this is part 1. We're gonna film part 2 right now. But this is the end of part 1.